Um, okay, so we have started here. So let's go to we have completed till regression testing, right? Let's complete this pretty quick, and we'll go to our application testing. Okay, so here acceptance testing. Okay, so what is acceptance testing? Acceptance testing is, so this is a little bit specific, but there is something also called user acceptance testing. Okay, so it's both are not really the same thing, but similar. Okay, the similar the way you do this. User acceptance testing is more specific word, and acceptance testing is a generalized term. Okay, so you're talking about the user. It's not just business acceptance testing; it's a user acceptance testing. Okay, so it's kind of being more specific. Okay, so here this type of testing is like done based on the customer specified requirement. Okay, this kind of acceptance testing is based on customer. Sometimes what happens, right? Sometimes customers also gives the requirement. Okay, so once it goes through all those process, the business sees, okay, this is really requirement and this is really required for our business. Then if the business thinks that it's good, then they will go through it, add some patch into it, add some hot fix or a really new fix. Then it has to go through this acceptance testing. So that's called acceptance testing. Okay, so this, and again, this will be a different team. It's not really necessary that QA guy will be doing it, software tester will be doing it. It's really not necessary, but yes, if it's required, you have to do it. Or there will be a different team who will be doing this UAT. Okay. And what is this testing called? This testing is to make sure that system meets the customer specified requirements. So that's the main thing. Okay, so that's called acceptance testing. Is it accepted or not? Okay, user acceptance testing. Okay, so that's called user acceptance testing. So let's go to the next one. So before going to the load testing, we'll go through this performance testing. Okay, so let's talk about this. So before even going to performance testing, we have some brief idea. Why do we really require this performance testing? Okay. So this performance testing is classified into two types: load testing and stress testing. Okay, this is what it is: load testing and this is stress testing. Okay, so that performance testing is actually classified into two types. Okay, so before going to performance testing, let's have some brief, introduction why really we require this performance testing. So this performance testing is also called as non-functional testing. Okay, now here you'll be using a tool. It's a tool called like load runner. Okay, load runner. Okay, so what happens in this load runner, right? So there are, let's go in detail on this. Let's say. Let's go to some like Amazon.com. Okay. Now let's say so few people are using this URL. Okay, so Amazon.com is accessed all over the globe, right? If you have internet, it's not just in US, UK, Canada, it's all over the globe, right? Anyone who has internet can access this Amazon.com unless it is it is blocked by government agencies or something like that. Otherwise, anyone with the internet connection can access this Amazon.com. So what happens? So now let's say a user, right? I'm a user, and Amazon.com has some billions of users all over the world, right? It's a lot of people are going to access it. Not just one or two guys. It's not just you and me. It's a lot of people. Okay, so let's say Amazon has bought one server. Okay, they bought one server, and the server capability is like 50 users, right? There are only 50 users who can access this, and only 50 users can handle it. Now let's say I'm not even talking about clicking these buttons and all those things. We are not even going in that detail. I'm just using this URL and pasting this into the web browser. That's it. And how many people are doing it? It's a lot of people at that given point of time. At that particular given point of time, that's some like I don't know, some millions of people are using that, right? let's say no, they bought a server which is capability of 50 users. Let's say 100 people are using it. I'm not just talking about just clicking these buttons or something like that. Don't worry about it. I'm just using this URL and pasting this in my address bar of this web page. So can anyone say 100 people are doing at that particular given point of time, right? At that point of time, 100 people are doing. But here we have a server which is capable of only 50 users at once. Can only process 50 users. So can anyone say what actually happens? Any idea? So there is like a server which only accepts 50 users, but there are like 100 users who will be
Traffic.
okay.
There will be
Traffic, yeah,
traffic.
the traffic is user, yeah, it will increase, of course. Anyone else? Anything else? We will not be able to access it, right? Because the server capacity is 50 and 100 people are using it. That means, the web page is crashed. It will get crashed. Why? Because it's really not. Because what happens, right? Whenever you use this URL, you are accessing that particular server. You're accessing the server, and what happens? A lot of things happen at the back end. It utilizes a lot of resources. A lot of resources like memory. It has to use this memory, and so database it uses. So whatever is showing up, right? This is the database which is all shows up, and it has to query the database automatically. No one is going to write a query there. Okay, it's automatic. Whenever you use this URL, the query is generated for that database, and then it executes that query and shows up the images or whatever the information stored here. It shows up here. So that's what it happens at the back end when you. So there's a lot of things are happening. Since the resources getting utilized, database is running. Okay, and its memory is getting, the RAM is utilized. The server has RAM, right? The RAM and the processor runs pretty fast. It gets to, it's get heat up quickly because it's running for a lot of people. So in the worst case, the system gets blown up, right? Of course, it was only capable of handling 50 users. 100 users are trying to log in at the same time. Okay, just logging, just using this URL. That's what. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's the thing. To test that is called load testing. So we'll go in detail on that. Okay. But to test how many users are logging in it, how many, like 1,000 users are logging, what's happening to the system, how the spike is getting increased, how many people. So all this is actually the graph is plotted in load. Okay. So let's hold on with that. Okay. Now there's something called load balancer. Now let's say the Amazon has bought one more server, and now they use this, load balancer. So now what this load balancer does, right? Let's say if you are using 100, let's say 100 people are logging in, but the server capability is 50. Now there are two servers, 50 and 50. That's 100. Now what this load balancer does is, if there is more, stress to that server, it takes out that remaining users and puts it to another server. That's what the job of load balancer. Okay, so that's what the load balancer does. It takes out the remaining users, whichever is giving more stress to the server, and puts into another server which has zero users or is not, nobody is using that. So that's how it works at the back end, right? Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, so let's go back to our here. So load testing. Okay, so this load testing, it's a part in the performance testing. Okay, so to test an application, so what we are trying to see here is we are trying to test an application, not a server or anything other. It's just an idea we have what's happening back end. We are not testing anything hardware or something. We are trying to test an application under heavy loads. So you want to see how the application is responding when there are 100 users, 1,000 users. How the application is it slow? Is the movement is fast? Okay, how many users is able to take it? So all those things. So actually in the load testing, there's a lot of graphs are plotted. Okay, there's a lot of graphs like throughput, okay, RAM usage, operating system, and processor speed. A lot of things happen, okay. So all this, how much, its load it's taking on, okay, so all those things. So to test an application under heavy loads, such as a website, so for example, is 1,000 people are using this URL at the same point of time. It's called load testing. Okay, so that's what it means. Testing an application under heavy load. So 1,000 or 10,000 or million people are logging in it. How the how the system, how the application is performing. You want to see that. So that's called load testing. Okay. So any questions in load testing? So let's go to the next one. There is also called stress testing. Okay. Now here you are not only in just load, you are going beyond that load. Okay. Now what happens is, like, system is stressed beyond specification. So for example, now the users, now the million users are, we have seen that million users are logging into this Amazon.com Advanced, right? Now they are not just logging in, they're browsing everything. That means they're clicking these buttons, they're clicking this, and you know what, they're clicking this. So whenever you're trying to click this any button or something, again, that thing, it executes. So there's a database which, at back end there is a database with all this information, whatever, images, URLs, whatever is stored in that database, right? Now whenever you click something, it generates a query, backend query. Okay, no, I mean, no one is actually sitting there and typing that query, select start from, nobody is doing that. This is automatically generated a query. Okay, it gets query, and it gets executed to that particular database, and once it gets executed, the database fetches the record and shows up on this web page. Okay, that's what it happens at the back end. So that's the reason, right, when you click on this, this gets query. That means the particular URL shows up, and you're getting this web page, and you're able to only get this web page because there is a data, there is a data in the database. Otherwise it will not show anything if there is no data, right? So that's what it happens. So what happens in the stress testing is, like, everything, million people are trying to use this, everyone are clicking some URLs, or they are trying to click something in the web page of Amazon. So all this is happening, that's called stress, because you're not just using this URL at the same point of time, but at the same point of time you're also navigating this this web page. That creates more stress to the server, and the processor still runs faster, and of course it becomes more heat. The server becomes too heat, and that's what you're trying to do, is stress testing. Okay, does it make sense? So here, not even this load, you're trying to see here. So you're just performing under heavy load, like putting large number of beyond storage capacity, complex database queries. Okay, this complex database query is not like somebody's querying or something like that. You're clicking some button that is generating that query and executing that to that database. That's what it means. Okay, you're really not that you're writing any query or executing it. It's automatic. And continuous input system to the database load. That means even database is getting too much load, that it's keep on executing it one after the other, because people are trying to use this web page. Okay, so that's called stress testing. Does it make sense? Okay, so let's go to the next one. So yeah, so one more definition, this is proper definition for load testing. So load testing, what is load testing? Load testing is to identify the bottleneck of an application. So that's the appropriate word to use whenever you are saying define load testing, right? Load testing is load testing is to testing an application to identify the bottleneck of an application. Okay, so that's called load testing. Yeah, I know this. Like there's some um, disturbance. Like sometimes the voice goes high, so sometimes voice goes low. Okay. Yeah, there is a little bit in that. Okay, but don't worry about it. Okay. So I hope you guys, I hope you guys are, also looking to this better audio quality. This audio quality is better in the second one. Of course, this might not be good, okay, because voice is getting high and low, low pitch, high pitch, so that's the reason, also look into the, better audio quality so that you'll have, better audio. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Next is usability testing. So what is user? Well, it's called user friendliness check. Okay, so here, okay, this is now let me give you an example for usability testing. Let's take an example. Okay, let's go back to our Amazon laptop. Let me I'm signing right. Let me sign out. Okay, you know what? Okay, so here. Right. So let me give an example here. What is usability testing? So let's say I'm using this Amazon.com, right? This is Amazon.com, and now I want to buy something, right? I'm looking a lot of things here, and I want to buy something, but I'm a regular customer, right? I'm a regular customer, and um, I want to sign in, right? Because I want to sign in and create an account. Why? Because I want to track all my, whatever I bought, from Amazon. I want to track down. So I want to sign in. I don't want to do guest checkout. Guest checkout may be an option where you can do it, but I mean, not always recommended because if you lose something, you may not able to track it properly. But here, if you sign in, you have your account and anything is gets secure. So let's say I want to sign in. Okay, great. This signing button is right in front of my face, right? As a customer, I want it right away. Now, let's say the signing button is somewhere here. Let's say here. How do I know that the signing button is here? First thing. So that's not user friendly. Why? Because if I'm looking signing button for just for signing button, I have to look the whole page and figure it out that it's here. It's really not a user friendly. Okay, that's really not a user friendly application. Any user friendly application will be like if you're in need of something, it should be right in front of you, right? Let's say sign in or let's say orders, what orders I've placed. I want to look it right away. I don't have time to look for my orders and browse at the end of the footer of the page and see this is my order. That's really not user friendly because first thing I would not know orders will be here. Okay, and that's very important because if a customer wants to look into order, obviously it should have be in the first page itself here somewhere in the in this section. So that's the user friendliness. So that's an example. There's a lot more to be in user friendliness, but this is just an example for signing button. Okay. So here what you do is in an application flow is tested so that new user, if a new user is trying to see it should be application should be easy. Okay, so here the navigation is, say for example, signing button. So that's, an example for the user friendliness. So that's called usability testing. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So there is one called install and uninstall testing. Again, this is more related to client applications. Okay, whichever is installed in the system. Whenever you install a system, it's called client application. Okay, so now you want to test that. Okay, is it installed properly? No, based on the requirements, of course. If there is any requirements that if there is any DLL files that need to be tested, or if there are any files which have to be appended, so all these things when doing this install and install testing, you have to test based on the requirements. So that's called install and uninstall testing. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So there is something called recovery testing. Okay. So recovery testing is to test and how soon the system recovers from crashes or hardware. Okay. It's called recovery testing. So let's say, an application got crashed. Okay, the application is, that means you're not able to navigate it. And how soon it recovers automatically? Normally, it has to recover, right? So that's called recovery testing. Okay, how soon it's getting to test that, it's called recovery testing. So let's go to the security testing. So here, security testing, you want to see how the application is secure. Okay, so let's take an example here, security testing. Um, let's go to google.com. Right? So now when I go to google.com, now these days, most of these companies are using HTTPS. Okay, so previously it is like HTTP, right? Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So that is HTTP. Now S means secure. That means Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure. So it's not just like you just put it S here, it becomes HTTP. No, HTTPS is something which is secure. That means what happens is whenever you're trying to if you are using this, right, Google, now you want privacy, right? You don't want somebody else. So we don't worry about this Google. We just see a transaction. You're making a credit card transaction. So there you're using a lot of things, right? Your SSN, credit card number, address, a lot of things are happening. So you don't want somebody else to steal that information, right? If you're using HTTP, then obviously your information is not secure. So what happens in this HTTPS means your information gets encrypted. Some algorithm, they have an algorithm which they encrypt that information and can only be decrypted at the server point of view. So any hacker and any guy who is looking to it and tries to get all the information, it's pretty much useless for it, because he cannot decrypt it. He doesn't know what the algorithm is. Even if he knows, he doesn't know how the algorithm is made of, right? So that's how you want to use HTTPS, and it's not just put just S, it becomes HTTPS. No, there's a certificate that is installed here, and that certificate only can get decrypted at the server. So that kind of testing is called security testing. Okay, so you want to test, can a system be penetrated in a hacking way? Testing how well the system protects against unauthorized external access is called security testing. Okay, you want to test an application which is secure. Okay, which is which has secure, which doesn't have okay, so HTTP is an example for security issue. It's just an example. There are so many other ways that security testing can be done. Okay, and it's based on the project how it is. Okay, so that's HTTP is just an example for you. Okay, so let's go to the any questions so far. Okay, so let's go to this complete is pretty quick. We will go to okay. So here compatibility testing. Okay, so here compared to the name itself, right? You want to see how the software or the application is compatible to the hardware, software, operating system. Which operating system is it compatible to Linux? Is it compatible to Unix, Windows, and so on? Okay, so yeah, somebody asked a question, right? Is all this testing are done in the quality center? So again, see, even if you are using any tool, those are test management tool. Okay, so there you will document your test cases. These testing are performed on the application. Okay, so you are not doing anything in quality center. This kind of testing you are not doing in the quality center. You are performing this to the application. Let's say google.com or amazon.com, okay, or any other web page. You are trying to perform on that. And why you are using quality center is to document what work you have done. Let's say you have created test cases. Test cases for what? Security testing. Let's say you have created test cases. Test cases for what? Compatibility testing. So you are documenting your work, but you're really not performing anything in quality center. You're performing in an application. So just wanted to be clear. Whoever wants to, somebody had a question, right? So just wanted to make sure you're clear on that. Okay. Okay, so that's about the compatibility testing. So now let's say the comparison testing. So you want to compare. I mean, this is similar to what we have seen the sanity testing, right? Here you're doing comparison. So you know which version is good? Okay, there are two versions. Okay, version one, version two. So which version is good? The same software, different versions. Okay, you want to see which is good, which is not. So that's called comparison testing. You're comparing between the two products. I mean, same products with a different version. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Then it's called alpha testing. Okay, so this alpha testing is actually done, it's done by the developers. Normally, once the code is deployed before going to test environment, you know, so normally, it depends on the project, but some places, how they do is alpha testing is done before the code is moved in test environment. It has to be done in dev environment and has to be completed. Okay, and technically it can be done by anyone who is responsible, like Scrum Master, Project Manager, Business Analyst, or Project Architect. Whoever guy is responsible can do this alpha testing. Okay, normally it has to be completed before the code is moved into test environment. Okay. So let's go to the beta testing. So now in this beta testing, now the code, okay, now the code is moved into production, and what happens, right? Okay, now again, company knows, those guys knows that, okay, you know what, these developers, testers have not done their job good. We know it. They always mistakes. So what they do is they'll allow the people who are using that software to test that. So it released to the whole world, right? This beta testing is released to the whole world, saying that, hey, you know what, this is the demo version, or this is an application. Why don't you guys test it and send it bugs and we'll fix it. So that's called beta testing. Okay, and before releasing to commercial, that means they'll just give a demo application, not full application, right? Demo application or part of an application to tell that please check into it, and if you have any issues, just let us know. We'll solve this issue. So that's called beta testing, and it's done by the consumers, whoever users, basically normally users, and released to the whole world. Anyone, I mean, this will be getting more specific because these days, some people in the beta testing also it gets specific. People don't give to everyone who are regularly using that software, who are regularly using that application might be eligible for beta testing. In this case, it's getting a little bit more specific on beta testing. Okay, they might also have this classification on beta testing 1, beta testing 2, or so on. Okay, so otherwise it is, it's released normally. It's released to the whole world, saying that test an application and send us the bugs, we'll fix it. Okay, so this is what about various types of testing. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, so that was about most of them. We had some introduction, so we were talking about this introduction part. Now let's get back to the business. Now let's say you went to the project. Let's say you got a project, and I know you're working the project, and now your lead. Now you need to communicate a lot with the lead. Okay, your first point of contact is always lead. Okay, you don't just go and ask your manager, hey, you cannot just directly ask. First point of contact is always lead. Whatever work you're getting, whatever the information is supposed to get is from the lead. If lead is not available, if you're a senior guy, if you're really a senior guy and you are good, then you can contact manager or your boss. But really you don't want to go everything for your boss, because your boss, you need to take this. Your boss will never be helpful to you. You need to understand this. Okay, your boss will never be helpful to you, and you need to take it in positive way. Always you need to be, always you need to be in most positive Okay, however your boss is saying. Okay, you need to remember that. Okay, there's a long way to go. Okay, so here let's say you went to the project and you got an application. Somehow your lead told you, hey, you know what? Why don't you start this application? This is an application, web application, and you want to start testing this. Okay, now as a tester, as a QA, you're not going to, okay, what should I need to test? Now I told you all kinds of testing, right? So far we were talking 2 days, we are talking about testing. So you're not going to say what I need to test. Now you know what you need to test. Mostly it will be functional testing. Any part will be, part of this functional testing. Even if you take security testing, even if you take smoke testing, it's some or other part of the functional testing. Okay. Okay, so here that's not a valid question. If you ask your lead what I need to test, that gives a wrong impression. What you can ask is, are we performing all kinds of testing? Like, are we performing integration testing? Are we also doing this regression testing? It's good to know. Okay, so that question you can ask, but you cannot ask, okay, what I need to test. It's really not a good question. Okay. Okay, so now you got this application and you know what to do. You need to test. So let's say here, now let's take an example. Okay, let's go to this. I'm clicking this button. And so I need a lot of interaction from you guys. Okay, so I'm placing order. Okay, good. Now I found out this is a retail guy. Okay, these guys are in retail business. That's good. And I'll just placing an order. So just place an order. And this page is moving the next. So it's good. Okay, this is what I'm buying. I'm buying 10 quantity. Okay, great. Proceed with an order. And okay, I need to fill up all this information. Let's say I fill up all this information here, and I want to give my credit card number. So I'll just use my not real credit card, but here we have this. This credit card number. Obviously, American Express. I'm using expiry date. I'm giving as 2017. That's we have 1 month, so it's good to we can use this. Okay. Okay, now I'm just placing this, this is really not quite. I'm place this in and I'll just place an order. You see this? I place an order. This is going to bill to me and it's $3,154.90. And it's going to ship it to this address. So, this is my phone number. Okay, so, we have completed this. So, so do you guys find any issue here so far? Any issue or any question here you find? I mean, we placed an order here. Just as an example. Any issues?
No, sir.
Right, because we never went into detail, right? We never went into detail because we were just moving so fast. We never found an issue. That's good. It's reasonable. We don't have to get in first time, right? And no one gets in first time. So obviously we just went in one flow. That's a passive scenario. Okay, so whenever you are testing application, you need to remember, there's 3 major scenarios. That is passive scenario. So far we went passive scenario. There's a negative scenario, and there is a boundary values. Negative scenario means is other than numbers. If you're putting any, suppose there is a block of box, then if you have to enter number, if you're putting any other than number, that's called negative scenario. Any other than that, what is supposed to be, okay? And boundary values is something which is just like decimal points, 0.001 point. So those kind of things don't exist when you're placing this order. Okay, so let's go into detail, right? Okay, so let's take a defect in a positive scenario. Okay, I'm using this positive scenario. Let's open a defect here. Okay, let's do this. Okay, I'm really testing this application, right? So I have right to place any number of quantity. Okay, so I'm putting this order quantity here. I'm placing these many orders. Okay, great. Let's see what happens. Okay, great. Now there's an issue here. Can anyone say what the issue is? Can anyone find some bug here? There's a outright bug here. Okay. So if you have any questions on that, we can talk about this, how it is, what it is, but Anyone? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to place these many quantity orders, this many quantity, and each quantity is this, and total bill is this much, and it came to this number. Can anyone figure out what's the bug here?
Is it the first two orders who are not like highlighted on the?
I'm sorry, what first two numbers? Can you tell me?
That's the first two orders, like 3% demo test and external framework, frame backup backpacks. So that's the.
Oh no, that's because I use that link. So that oh no, what? Okay, for your sake of convenience, what I'll do is okay. That's really not a bug. That's because I use that one. So
Okay, all right.
okay. So if you are having that problem, then I'll use a. Now you'll not see that issue. Okay, but I'm still placing this. So that's really not a bug. It's a cookie, which is it has. So that's the reason you were actually good. Okay, so now this is good, right?
Oh,
Okay. Now, anything else?
Shipping and handling cost is very low.
Exactly. Shipping and handling is just $5. So here is a common sense. So even if that guy ships from USPS, let's say the guy ships from USPS. Now, do you really think that these many quantities I'm ordering and USPS guy ships for $5? You imagine the amount of weight it carries. This gets too much weight when I'm trying. This is a quantity. This is some significant number here, and shipping and handling showing us $5. Now that's really common sense, right? Now that's a different story that company might offer because you're ordering more than $100 or $200, whatever it says. They might tell you shipping and address will be free, but obviously this is not the case here, right? Here you're saying that $5. Now that's a bug. Now, first thing is you don't want to give false information to your customer saying that, okay, even it might be free, okay, you don't want to. So the main thing is, the main of this is you don't want to give false information to the customer. The moment the customers find the false information, they have right to, sue you, right? They're giving wrong information and, they will really have really rights. Okay, so this is one of the, right? Any questions? Any questions on this? But why it is a bug or why it is supposed to be $5? Okay, there are other reasons too, just like sales tax. If you're in Delaware, right? In Delaware, you're really not. You don't have the sales tax, right? It's supposed to be amount to zero because there is really no sales tax there, right? So this is really not applicable. So this is another issue to talk about it, but really that's a different thing. But for now, we'll just worry about this $5. Anyone any questions on this $5?
no, sir.
Okay, so that was let's go back to here. Okay, so yeah, the purple color, right? This purple color is because of cookies. It is stored, so just we'll go back to here. So that's really not a defect. If you want to see, you can open any private window, and it shows it doesn't show up here. Okay, so that was one defect. Okay, so you know what? I'll be doing homework for you guys to to get more issues like this. Okay, so that was more of a really common sense. So we don't really require document for this, right? Now I don't want homework such like saying okay, I don't want homework such like okay, this image is in the right side, it should be in the left side. Okay, this online catalog should be in blue color, not in black color. So these kind of things really I don't want in the homework because we don't have document for this, and really it's really not the case. Okay, because there are, even if it is a different thing, that would be a minor issue. Okay, it's a cosmetic issue, but we want the real issues here. Okay. Okay, so let me show you one more defect. It's similar to this. So you might have got some idea on this. No? Let me show you one more defect. How do you open a defect? So okay, let's go back here. We'll just place an order. You know what? You don't require this. You just goes number 10. So I'm placing an order, 10 quantity, and it's putting here. Place an order. Okay. So this is the bill I'm getting. Proceed with order. And I'll fill up all this information here. You just check mark this, use this. Now, here what I'm using is, now, this is November. Let's say I'm using 10 is October, okay, in 2017. Now, this is an expired credit card. Okay, now when I'm trying to do the transaction with the expired credit card, it's really there is no reason to the page should go through. The page never goes through. Okay, even if you use a point of sales, you're going to try to swipe your card or something, the page, because it's just directly shows up if card is expired. Let's see here what happens. Oh, it has taken that. Okay, so that's one more bug. Now you are not going to you're not going to place an order with an expired credit card. It's really not possible. Okay. First, you need to get your credit card fixed. You need to get a credit card which is a later date, which cannot be date, beyond today's date. Let's say if it is 14th is today's expired, then you cannot go 13th and place an order. That's really not possible. Your application will never move, into the next page, unless your payment is clear. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so that is one kind of issue, right? There's one more issue. So let me give more, better, more defects so that you'll understand this better. Okay. Some few people have really done in the past. Really, they have opened really good defects. Okay. Some may be minor, okay, cosmetic issues, but really they were able to find a very good defect. So if they have done, you can also do it. Okay. So no big deal. Okay, so let's find one more issue. Let's find one more issue. Now, let's see, I want to click this because I want more information on 3% down 10, because this is a URL, if you can see here. There is a URL showing up here, right? Okay, so I'll just click on that. That means I want to get more information on what is this all about. Okay, great. So here, if I see this is about 3% down 10. Okay. This is 3% on temp, and here you see this in stack is 23. That means whenever you're trying to order it, it cannot exceed more than 23. Okay, there should be some, some pop-up window or something dialog box saying that we cannot exceed more than. But let's see here. If I'm putting 100, the place is going through. Now, if you can again see this back here, it's only 23 stuff. Now, if there's only 23, they cannot ship you 100. So there's no reason to ship 100 because there is no stock. It's in backlog, right? It's in backlog, and there's no way you can ship 100. So now, if you're a customer gets only 23 here. Okay, but customer paid the price for 100. See this is the quantity. He paid for 100, but he'll get only 23 products. Now, this is a really bad thing because the customer gets frustrated. They they'll call back, customer service, hey, you know what, I paid this, and they're not responding it. They don't care. It's really, ends up in lawsuits. Okay, because if they're not worrying about it, so it will be really. So this is a bug. Okay, because customer paid for 100 quantity, but never noticed about 23, and the page went through. And all the billing was completed. Okay, so that's another bug. Does it make sense? So you cannot order quantity which is more greater than in stock. If you are having 23 in stock, that means you cannot ship more than 23. Okay, and one more thing about homework. So I'm giving you this is an example. Okay, just don't come up with again. You said about 3% on glaciers and classes is 138 and placing 100. So all this means to same. So whatever I'm trying to say this means at all. So don't come up with homework. No, you didn't say about this. I'm saying about this. Okay, this is a similar problem all over the place, all over these. This items. Okay, all of the similar problems. If developer has fixed this, will fix all over these items, not just one item. Okay, so don't come up with uh, defects like this is hiking boots. We never told about hiking boots. This hiking boot is only 32. I'm trying to place 100 is none. But that's really not an answer. Okay, so this is just an example for you to understand how to open bugs. Okay, don't come up with defects, such kind of things. Okay. Make sure there's a lot more defects. Even if you give me a perfect application, you know what, you just give me google.com, I'll find you. Okay, just google.com may not be, not good, but of course, if there is in domain, I'll find you plenty of defects in the just google.com domain. Okay, so that's how you are. So that's the opinion, right? Whenever you test, you need to have such kind of opinion. Whenever somebody gives you an application test, they are hiring you to find a defect, and that means you need to tell them that application is broken in some way or other. Okay, so that's why they are hiring you, to make sure you need to find more and more defects. Okay, the more defects you open, the better position you will be in. In the company, you will be in a better position. Okay, because they cannot let you go, right? Because if you found some defect and developer tries to fix that and you have to retest it, right? Again, they cannot hire another guy, just to retest, because nobody is doing that job, right? In companies really it's a big problem. Okay, so they cannot really fire you just like that. If you're opening day to day a lot of defects, then really you become very important, because nobody else can do that, right? You can only do because you know how to test an application. So that's the important thing. Okay, so far we have done positive scenarios, right? Positive scenarios, whatever the let's take an example of negative scenario. I'm not sure this works. Let's see here. It's fine. Okay, so here what I'm trying to put an order quantity is, instead of number, I'm just using some character A. Now that's really not a correct number, because order quantity cannot be a order quantity cannot be a alphabet. It has to be a number. So please enter in digits flow. Okay. Okay. So now this has the different effects. So just don't worry about it. So that's a real different issue. Okay. Let's go here. So okay. So here what I'm trying to put the A. Okay, saying that please enter only digits in the field. Okay, I got it. Okay. Now, after warning, if I click enter, right, or place an order, so it's going through, page is going through, right? You see this? The quantity is A, and they're shipping what? Nothing, and customer is paying $5 for nothing. Now that's a defect, right? So this is a negative scenario. So far we found a bug in positive scenario, giving a large number and saying that okay, shipping and handling fee was incorrect, but here it's a completely different scenario, which means I'm trying to put a quantity which is really it's A, which is really not that number. It's not a number, and it's you're still going to just proceed with order for no reason. Okay, so and this was really not working. Okay, so that is another bug. Any questions? So that's how you need to find out the bugs. Okay, that's how you need to see scenarios first. You can try some scenarios: positive scenario, negative scenario. And let's see if we can work to negative scenario. Boundary value. Boundary value is something like 0.00. 0.00. Okay, and you're putting this number and she's not supposed to go through it. Please enter digits field. Okay, and I cannot go through this. Normally I should not go through this, but it's going through. So now look at this calculation. It's saying that 0.001 is multiplied with 299.99, charging you 30 cents. Which doesn't make any sense here because you're not going to ship 0.001. This is not a quantity. Quantity should be numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay. So of course, this Chrome has a different defect altogether, saying that this button also doesn't work. If I put some a number and this keeps wondering, this preset form doesn't work, and this button gets. This is a completely different defect. Okay, and it's only browser related defects. So of course, you will be also having a lot of browser level defects because you have to test with Chrome. Okay, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, okay, and IE, Internet Explorer. There are versions IE 9, IE 10, IE 11, and then if you have this Microsoft Edge, you need to also test with Microsoft Edge, and then you have, of course, if you have anything else like Opera, they are working on Opera, but that's really not the case. But you have to at least test for 4 to 5 browsers because those 4 to 5 browsers are very important. I mean, if you are able to work on 4 to 5 browsers, remaining any browser, it will work. I mean, most of the time it works unless it's a different style or something. But yeah, most of the time it should work. Okay, so this is how you need to open defects. So make sure whenever you're opening defects, try in Chrome. Just as you said, as you have seen, right? This Chrome has already a different defect, which I keep clicking this and doesn't move. Okay, but that's really not in the case of Firefox. So that's a browser level defect. Okay, and okay, another defect is we found positive defect, positive scenario defect, and negative scenario with boundary values. 3 defects we have found. Okay, and anything else? Any questions on this? So you have to test with. You have to at least test with Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and IE or Microsoft Edge. You need to test at least 4 browsers. 4 browsers, you might have 4 different results. For each browser, it's a different issue. For this browser, it's not, something is not working. That browser, something else is not working. So, there can be issues like that too. Okay, and just make sure don't come up with issues what I have said in the class. So that's really, you have to be really very, you need to have very good observation skills. Just like somebody said, right? This is in purple color remaining in blue color. So that level of granularity you need to have when you're testing an application. Okay, that's good. Somebody found that. So but that's really not a bug because it's a cookie which is stored, so that the color of this is changed. That's common for every URL. So once you click on this URL, the color of the URL changes because that shows that you have already visited that URL. Because it's really not a bug exactly. That's a feature that shows you have already visited that URL. That's why it becomes purple. Okay, so you need to have such kind of observation whenever you are trying to test an application. So there is a lot more defects. Okay. Okay, a lot more defects here. You can go to 3 buttons. There's 3 buttons. Enter Geom Online. We have seen this. Or you can also go to here, see if you find any defects here, and also go to the browser test page and see if any defects here. Okay, and obviously you can also check here, if any issues here. Okay, and again, don't come up with issues like this is green color, it should be blue color. Okay, this is black color, it should be blue color. That kind of things really not required because we don't have document for this right now. We don't have any BRD document or something. So or functional document so that we can see the screenshot, what the screenshot is and what's showing up here. So let's not worry on this. And even if you open such kind of things, it will be a cosmetic issue. That will be not priority. Your aim always should be open as much as a medium level. If you can open high priority, that's good. It's good for you. It's good for your in a job because you'll be if you can able to open high priority issues every time, that's good. Nobody else can find it. You can do it. So that's how you are your job gets good position. And most of the time you have to open, you can only able to open the medium level issues, okay? And cosmetic issues, you have to keep opening cosmetic issues meanwhile because it's still an issue, right? It's still an issue. Its document is saying something else. Here in the application is showing something else, or it's written something else. Here it's written something else. So you need to, open an issue. Okay. Any questions? Now let me give you some information here. So there is a fine line between a defect and a feature. Okay, there's just fine line between a defect and feature. Yeah, somebody asked, right? You have to go to the certain website. No, you just try to find it only for this application. So this GMO Online, this is GMO Online, Green Mountain Web Post, and you need to find for now for this homework, right? You need to find issues only in this application. Wherever you are able to find, not Google. Don't go anywhere else. Don't go to Google. Don't go to Amazon. It's really not. We don't worry about it right now. Just find it in the whole application, wherever you can find. Okay. But of course, you want to test it in different browsers. That means this Chrome browser, Firefox browser, Safari. If somebody is using Mac, that's good. Safari will be much more, easy. You can test it. And IE, Internet Explorer, or Microsoft Edge. You want to test it, right? So browsers, of course, you need to do. But application is one application. That's GM Online. Don't switch the application. Okay, so let's get to the point. There's a fine line between a defect and a feature. Okay, now let's take an example. Somebody came up with some issue that there's no back button here, right? There's no back button application. Obviously, it was not meant for a back button because you can use this back button, right? Go back to the page. So in that case, you can use this back button. So obviously, business analyst or someone who is a business guy obviously thought of this, that it's no point of using this. They want to lessen the code. They don't want to make the code complicated. So they remove this back button and they write it here. Okay, in some case they have written. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so they will write it here that click on proceed with order button to continue or use browser's back button. So that means obviously the company don't want to take the liability of putting this back button here because of course they don't want to make their code complicated and more tiresome. So that's why they are saying why don't you use this back button? Okay, fair enough. Okay. Okay. So that's the reason here. So somebody says like don't have back button. So that's the reason you don't have back button because they will write it here and say that why don't you click this back button? The same thing what it does, right? So that's just a feature which is really not required, which you can use it in the browser itself because Firefox gives that option IE gives the option back button, and almost all browsers gives back button. So obviously they removed it and say don't use it. Okay, don't really require it because every browser gives that option. So that kind of features are really not required. Okay, so that is really because company doesn't want to take any liability on this code point of view. Because if the code gets convoluted, then it's really a problem for the company, right? So they don't really want to use that. Any questions so far? So I'll be giving you, instructions. So just and I'll be giving you document. Just write it in that and submit the homework. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Any questions? Okay. If no one has any questions, can we close this class for today? So tomorrow, we'll go through test management tool, Rally. Okay, and we'll see, how can we open defects in that. Okay, thank you guys.